Hi friends, Tammy with Stampin' Savvy. Thanks so much for joining me. I have got a really fun birthday card for you with a couple of other options. So this is the card that we're going to be making today. This is one version of it. This is the feminine or kids version, and then that's a masculine version. But I've also got a Thanksgiving and a holiday version for you. So we're going to be using the So Much Happy kit that is on pre-order now through July 28th. All the supplies that I have used in the cards today, the cardstock, designer paper, ribbon, and embellishments are all part of the kit. I put it together so it's at one affordable price for you. And then we're pairing it with the So Much Happy Stamp and Die bundle and the 2020 through 2022, it's a mouthful, ink collection. So to create several different options, we're going to put it together with the Stamparatus, and I'm going to show you how to take 3 colors and do the hinge step technique. It does require kind of an extra step than 2 colors, so I'm going to show you how to do that, not only for the card today, but for other sentiments that you may have. You will love knowing how to do it. It is so fun and so easy. So let's get going. Let's play. So from the kit, you're going to want to select what the cardstock that you want for your card base. So in this case, I'm going to be making 2 masculine cards using the cinnamon cider. Now, if you're going to be doing multiples of this card, you do want to cut your card bases ahead of time and have them all ready to go, because it will save you time when it comes to doing the stamping from having to clean them extra times. So go ahead and cut all your card bases at one time. And what you're going to do is on the short side, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of our cardstock. Again, cinnamon cider is the one that I'm going to be using, but I'm going to show you another alternate with this card. So we've got the cardstock, and then you're also going to want whichever designer paper that you have from the kit. So you're going to want to, first of all, we're going to score at 4 1/4. And then we're going to move this over to 1 1/2. Now, the card that we are making is a gift card holder. So this is the 1 1/2 inch that's going to get folded back to hold the gift card. Now, if you don't need a gift card or you don't want that pocket, then instead of scoring at 1 1/2, you can go ahead and cut at 1 1/2, which is what I did in this card right here. This is a card for my brother-in-law whose birthday is at the beginning of January. So I'm already thinking ahead and having this ready for him. And so I just went ahead and I just cut that off, and then I embossed that front just to give it a little bit of texture. So this is a variation on the card that we're going to be making today. So again, you have your choice whether you want the pocket. If you do, then you're going to score it. If you don't want the pocket, then you can go ahead and cut that and then use that piece for something else. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and turn it at 5 1/2 inches, and we're going to cut. And now we've got 2 card bases set up, ready to go. And again, if you're going to be doing more than 2, you want to go ahead and cut all of your card bases at one time so they're ready to go, because that's one of the greatest benefits of the Stamparatus is the ability to do repeat stamping, where you can ink and stamp and then just do them all at one time when you've got your stamps all set up. Okay, now you have a choice whether to stamp directly onto the cardstock, like I did in this card using the thick Whisper White, or, and like I did here with the Just Jade, or in this variation, what I've done is I've created a panel of the regular Whisper White, and I've done the stamping on this and created a layer. Now in this case, because of the colors that I chose, I knew that it would be brighter and clearer if I stamped on white, as opposed to the Poppy Parade being on the green, the Just Jade. So that's what I'm going to do for this card today. I'm going to go ahead and stamp on a panel. So it's really your choice whether you want to stamp directly onto the card base or you want to create the layer. It is 2 1/4 inches wide by 5 1/2 inches long. So this is 8 1/2 inches, and again, this is the regular Whisper White. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2 inches because that's the length that we need. And I always like to go just a titch over. So we're talking not even a 1/16 of an inch, so that it doesn't come up short when you put your layer on. You can always trim a little bit off, but if it ends up being a little bit short, it's pretty hard to fix. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut at 2 1/4, and I'm going to go ahead and do 2 of these. Now, again, because I'm going to be stamping on the layer, you would want to create as many of these as cards that you're making so that you have all of these cut and ready to go at the same time. So that's a extra. So that was, I was able to create 3 with the width of an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet. So that would actually get you 6 if you were to use the full sheet of regular Whisper White. That would get you 6 of these. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is you're going to bring in your 6 by 6 piece of the designer series paper, and this is on one side and then that's on the other side. So I've gone ahead and I've cut 2 of these for the 2 cards that I'm going to be making today. But just like in the example I showed you here, if you wanted to reverse it and do 2 of the Happy Holiday cards, then you could do that as well. Now for this card, I brought in Itty Bitty Christmas, and I used this one right here to do the holidays here, and it's really easy to do this. So I stamped the Happy first, and then I came in with the holidays and added that last. And the stamp is actually Happy Holidays, but I didn't want, I already had the Happy from the So Much Happy stamp set. I just wanted the holidays. So what you do is you put that on your block, and then you bring in a Post-it note. It can be washi tape, you know, just something to cover it. And we're going to do a simple masking technique where we're going to just cover up the word happy. Then you're going to go ahead and ink this up. This is going to have ink on it. You'll remove that. There will be no ink on happy, and then you can go ahead and stamp holidays. And so that way you can kind of create custom sentiments just like I did here. So then I put the designer paper here, and then I used the enamel dots that are included with the kit and in the center of the 3 poinsettias. And then I added the matching Just Jade tulle ribbon with a small ribbon or a small bow that's attached with a glue dot, and you're ready to go. This was a scrap piece that I had, and again, because everything mixes and matches and coordinates, you are able to, you know, use everything that you've got. And so I took that scrap and I added it on to the edge of the pocket there, and now I've got a Christmas card ready to go. With your designer paper, you're going to want to cut them at 1.5 inches wide. I've gone ahead and I've left them at 6 inches because I like to just trim them off at the end. That way I can get an exact fit. If you prefer to cut yours on the trimmer, then you would want to trim them at 5.5 inches first, and then turn it and trim them at 1.5 inches wide. So 1.5 inch wide strips. for as many cards as you're going to be making. The nice thing is at 1.5 inches, you can get 4 strips from one sheet of your designer series paper. So I could get 2 masculine cards and 2 more holiday cards from this if I wanted to. Or you could do 4 masculine. That's the beauty, right? I keep saying this. I know a kind of broken record, but you know, when it comes to Savvy Solutions, I love being able to give you lots and lots of options. Okay, so we've got our 2 card bases, we've got our 2 pieces of designer paper, and we have got our 2 layers for stamping the happy. In this case, that's what I'm going to do. And then the colors that I have chosen to do for this card, I'm going to do 3 of them. Now you could certainly do 2 as well, but there's one extra step that you need to take when you're doing 3. So I'm going to show you that one today. Okay, now you're going to want to bring in your Stamparatus. And one of the features of the Stamparatus that makes it unique compared to others that are on the market is that we have removable plates. It comes with 2 plates that are included with it, and you can completely remove these. And that makes the plates reversible, so you can use both sides. So that gives you 4 sides to work with on any given project. But we've also designed it with hinges. And so today we're going to do something called the hinge step technique. This has been around for a little while. I've done other videos with this, but if it's new to you, you will have so much fun. It is so easy to do, and you can use it for so many different sentiments. Now, in addition to the Stamparatus, you're going to want the small grid paper or some type of a grid paper. You can cut our larger grid paper down to fit as well. You can also use copy paper, but it's really helpful to have the grid lines when you're setting up this particular stamp. It is red rubber, not the photopolymer, so we're going to be using the grid to line up and make sure that we get our sentiment straight. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, because it's red rubber, we don't need the foam pad that is included with it. So we're going to go ahead and put this into the corner. Then we're going to bring in one of our layers, and again, it's going to go into the corner. Then you're going to want to get your happy stamp from the stamp set. And what we're going to do is, you can see when you're looking at the hinges on the side here, we're going to want to position this stamp in the center of the dark area on the base. So right here. So we're centering the stamp left to right to fit the layer, and then we're also centering it top to bottom in that hinge. And I'm kind of guessing because I can't look directly over this, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how we're going to double check this. Okay, then what I like to do is I like to remove the plate and see if I'm straight. And if you can see the grid lines, there's grid lines inside that plate, I can tell that I am not straight, that I am off just a little bit. So I'm going to kind of guess that that's close. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and set this off to the side. That was just to help us get positioned. Now we're going to bring in one of our colors, and I'm going to start with Cinnamon Cider. Now I also like to bring, let's move this over a little bit here. I also like to use our stamp cases to put under the edge to even this out. So now this plate lays flat, and it's much easier to do your inking. So let's move these out of the way, and let's go ahead and ink this up. And let's give that a test on the grid paper. So make sure you're in the corner. And let's see how we look. And that looks pretty good. I like it. I like it. I like it. Now, because we're pretty close to this corner, I mean really close to this corner, I'm going to give you a tip. Sometimes you'll get a little bit lighter impression when you're so close to the edge like this. So, included with your Stamparatus was a little brochure book that explains how to use it. I kept mine, and hopefully you still have yours. If you do, then pop it underneath your grid paper, and it acts as a shim, and it will lift it up just enough for you to get a little bit better impression there. Okay, so that's just a tip if you do run into that problem. Okay, I like how that is positioned, so we're going to go with that. And we're going to come in with our layer. We're going to put this back in position. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to ink this up. So this is color number 1. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp that. Okay, now what we're going to do, whoops. Now, make sure that you're in the corner. If you get it lifting like that, what you can do is come in with your magnet that's included. I wrap mine with tape and kind of have this so that I can grab onto it. You can go ahead and put that down here just so it kind of holds that in place. Okay, now you're going to pull your plate up perpendicular and you're going to lift it up, and we're going to go down 1, 2 hinges, okay? 2 hinges down. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to ink this. And we're going to repeat. That looks good. Make sure that you always want to make sure that you're in the corner. I'm going to switch this around. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go 1, 2 more down, and this is going to be the last one that we're going to be doing. And we're going to go ahead and ink that. And there we go. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, we're going to switch this out. Because we're doing multiple cards, it's much easier to do all of your layers in one color at a time than it is to come back and clean your stamp repeatedly. So, go ahead and put in layer number 2. And we're going to work from the bottom back up. So, let's go ahead. One, 2. And I didn't get that one very well, so let's do that again. And then back up to the top. Okay, so we're done with color number 1. But again, make sure that as many cards as you're going to be making, go ahead and do this first color on all your layers. Okay, now we're going to bring in our simple chamois, and you're going to go ahead and we're going to clean the stamp. Be real gentle. We don't want to move that because we've already got it in position. So I'm just kind of patting it. This is the simple chamois that actually has just been cut into pieces. I really like it because it's really nice and squishy compared to others that are on the market. And so when you've got red rubber with that really deep impression, the stamp, it's really easy to clean the ink. Okay, now we're going to move to the second color. So in this case, the cinnamon cider was the same as magenta madness on here. You can see it 1, 2, and 3 times. So now we're going to move to the next color, which is going to be done twice. So we're going to be doing the bumblebee, is bumblebee on this card, but on this card, I'm going to go ahead and let's do bumblebee. Why not? So we're going to do bumblebee twice on this. We're going to be doing it twice on here, just like it was done here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move it down 1 hinge. Okay, and we'll go ahead and ink this up well. Again, make sure that you are in the corner. Whoops. That's okay. We'll go ahead and move that. Okay, now we're going to go 1 and 2. So 1 hinge down to begin with, and then 2 hinges down for the second time. And there we go. So now we're going to come back in, and this is going to be Moonlight Madness. So in this case, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 times that I did the Poppy Parade. So in this case, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 times with the Misty Moonlight. Okay, now we need to change and reposition the Happy. So let's go ahead and close this one up. Okay, so go ahead, and again, we want to clean this off really, really well. We don't want any ink left on here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead, we're going to put this back up at the top, and you're going to go ahead and remove the stamp. Now, the stamp that we have here is going to help us, actually we're going to use this. So what we're going to do now is now we're positioning the stamp to go in between these 2 letters. And so okay, so I think I've got that positioned, but we're going to double check this. At this point, you're just kind of guessing, okay? So again, we're going to go ahead and remove that. We're going to see if that looks like it is level, and it looks like I might be a titch low here. Again, I'm using those grid lines. I think I'm close. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put this back in, and I guess we could have left this open. Now we're going to test ourselves to see whether it's lined up. And see, and this way is pretty good, but it does look like I'm a little bit high on my Y. So I'm going to take this out and just, without removing it, just kind of move it down a little bit. I'm going to put it back in. And let's re-stamp it and see if it came down. And you know what? I think that looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, here's another alternate idea. If it's too difficult for you to get these exactly lined up, then here is another option for you. And it would be to just off-center them. Don't even try and line them up straight this way. Like on this card, they're all lined up here. But if you just don't want to do that, then just completely ignore that and just move it over so that you get this effect. And that's so easy to do as well. Now, if you're doing it on the layer, you're going to need a wider layer. So you'll need to factor that in. In this case, I was just stamping directly onto the card base. Now, another option that I will share with you when you only have 2 colors, but you want the look of more, is what I did is I stamped the first set. You can see here, this set right here was done originally. And then I came back in with this one, this one, this one, and this one, to do the second round. And what I did is I inked up the stamp, I stamped it onto the grid paper, and then I stamped it onto the card base. So by stamping off once, you get a lighter color. So this is the Melon Mambo, but stamped off once. This is the Bumblebee, but it was stamped off once. And so that's a way to get a little bit more from your ink when you don't have as many colors, but you want that look of different colors. We're going to go ahead and clean this off, and we are set to do our, make sure you're in the corner, we're set to do our Misty Moonlight. Okay, so all of this stamping has been done, quick and easy. We've got our 2 panels, and now we're ready to go ahead and put them together. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the stamping for the balloons and the strings, as well as for the inside. So that extra piece that was left over from cutting the panels, we're going to go ahead and use that for our die cuts, for our stamping and our die cuts. So I'm going to do the star in the Misty Moonlight, the large balloon in Bumblebee. Whoops, that looks kind of cool. That was an accident. And the cinnamon cider in the small balloon. Now there's several different balloons that you can choose from in the stamp set. So you can do the stripes, you can do the stars, there's solids, so you can kind of mix and match whatever it is that you like. And then you're going to want to bring in your corresponding die cuts and go ahead and cut these out. And then with this little cutie right here, you're going to want to cut 3 strings for the 3 balloons. And you're going to want to do this on twice. In this case, because I'm making 2 cards, I'm going to want 2 sets of these. So you're going to want to just stamp in duplicates for however many cards that you are making. Okay, so we have all our pieces ready to go. Let's go ahead and put this together. So let's bring in our card base along with your bone folder, and we're going to give this a burnish in the center, and then we're going to fold this back under. That forms the pocket for the gift card holder. But before we go ahead and secure that down, I want to show you a couple other options. So now is the time if you wanted to do some detail on this edge. So you could use either of the accent dies that are included with the set, either that stitched edge like I did here, or that embossed edge would look really, really nice. But now's the time that you want to do that before we go ahead and secure it down. Now, another option that you could do is do the, a little strip of the designer series paper. That looks really good. It's really up to you. So let's go ahead and we're going to use our Stampin' Seal Plus for this one. This is a really strong permanent bond. It will not lift, and so we're going to just want to run that right along the edges, the outer edges. The nice thing is that the gift card, this is quite a bit wider than a gift card, so you don't have to be really careful to get it just on the ends. As you can see, I did not. So we're going to go ahead and put that down, give that a good rub, and then now, if you pull on that, it is not going to come up. Okay, let's bring in our designer series paper. Now again, I did not cut mine off, so mine's 6 inches. So what I like to do is just lay it next to the card, and then I come in with my glue, and I know where the edges are now. And just give that a little bit of glue, and whoops, go ahead and lay that down. An easy way to do that is to just put it up against the edge of your table, and then that way you know that that is square to the card. And then you're going to just come in with your snips, and we're just going to snip that 1/2 inch off of the end. And actually mine moved a little bit, so I'm going to do both ends. Easy peasy. Okay, so we've got that done. Now we're going to come in with the detailed trio punch, and we're going to use the corner rounder, and it kind of adds a really nice touch to the card. Makes it feel a little more custom, I think. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and put our front panel on. Now you have a choice. You could either just glue this straight down, which is what we're going to go ahead and do here, or you could pop it up, whoops, on dimensionals. That was a little bit generous there. And I went over the edge there. Crazy girl, crazy lady with the glue. Okay, then we're gonna just put that on there just like that. I like to leave a little bit of an edge there. Make sure that that is nice and even. And oh, that looks so cool. Does that not look great? Handsome, since this is for a guy. Now, because I cut it a little bit long, I'm gonna go ahead and come back and trim that off. You know, that's just a personal preference because like I said, I don't like when my layers are too short and it shows through. So there we go. Or like on this card, like I said, you could pop that up on dimensionals. So you've got dimensionals here and then you've got dimensionals here. So let's go ahead and put on our die cuts, do our last bit of stamping. Actually, let's go ahead and do our stamping right now. Okay, so I've got birthday. So it says happy, 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 happy birthday on the inside. So what I do is, I think I've got it straight on my block, but this is how I check it, is I take the edge of my block and I line it up with one of the grid lines, the block itself, not the stamp. And then I'm able to see whether or not it is straight. And if it's not, then I can know, okay, I need to come up a little bit or I need to go that way, but it's pretty straight on there. So then I'm gonna put it back down on the grid paper so that I know that it is even. And I'm going to just go ahead and stamp that. And there we go. Perfect sentiment, nice and straight when using the red rubber. All right, let's go ahead and put these on. I've got glue on my base here. I'm gonna put this away because I do not want to get any more ink. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on the tails. Now you can do 2 tails or you can do 3. I tend to be literal, and so because there's 3 balloons, I want 3 tails, but it's easier to just do 2. Totally your call. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in our silicone craft sheet, and I'm gonna turn this over because I just got done using this. And you're gonna want a little bit of glue. Don't need a lot. And then one of our stamping sponges. And we're gonna turn this over to the back side. And we don't need a lot, but you're just gonna dab a little bit of glue on there. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put one here, because I know there's a balloon that goes there. We're gonna do a second one. Whoops, turn that back over. Then I've got a second one that's gonna go here. And actually, whoops, where did it go? There it is. And on this one, I'm gonna go just like that. So it looks like there's looks like you've got a bow there, which you could totally just do that as it is. Now, if you wanna do a third one, what I did is I cut out this loop-de-loop here. And I put in the third one. So this is just gonna go in between here. This is gonna get covered up, so it doesn't really matter. And then this one is gonna come off of the bottom. Just like that. There we go. Okay, then for these 2 get popped up on dimensionals. So one's gonna go here, and then our smaller balloon is going to go here like this. And then this star is going to look like a balloon in the background. And I'm just going to put him on with a little bit of glue in the back. Just like that. There, so it looks like you've got 3 balloons, but we're going to step it up one more way. We've got the cinnamon cider. Anytime I'm doing a really small bow, I like to do it while it is still on the, you know, with a longer piece. And so I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this. We just need a really small one here. Make this smaller and smaller. There we go. And it's gonna go just like that. Let's go ahead and bring in, okay, then you're gonna want a glue dot, a mini glue dot. And I'm gonna do 2 glue dots actually. And it's gonna go right over those bows, just like that. Now you could certainly just keep it as it is, but I really think that that just dresses that up. And again, because your project is all color matched, it just makes it gives it a really finished, professional look. It makes you look good. That's why I like it so much. So there you go. So we've got 2 masculine cards done and ready to go. You've got the option to turn over the designer series paper and use the back side to do holiday cards if you wanted to do that. Or I've got another option for you, and it's this one here. So this was done in the bumblebee and the cinnamon cider, another piece of the designer series paper, and I set this up as a Thanksgiving card. So it says Happy Harvest Blessings, and you'll find the Harvest Blessings in the Country Home stamp set. And I did the very same thing that I showed you before with Itty Bitty Christmas, in that I just masked off that happy and used the happy from the front, Happy Harvest Blessings. So now you've got a Thanksgiving card, you've got a potential Christmas card, you've got a masculine birthday card, and then you've got a feminine birthday card. This would be great to give to kids, teenagers, you know, anybody with a lively personality. I think that these colors are just so fun and work so well together. So remember, the kit is on pre-order through July 28th of 2020. Grab option number 1 if you don't have the So Much Happy bundle and the ink pads. You can get that all in option number 1. If you just need the bundle, it is option number 2. The stamp and the die bundle is option number 2, or if you just want the kit, it's option number 3. Either way, grab it before July 28th. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. Bye-bye.